Hi everyone, today we're going to unbox Sony's newest telephoto lens. So why do we need a new telephoto lens? Well, this is a Sony 2 to 600 zoom lens, and this is a Sony 600mm f4 lens. And if you're someone like me who likes to shoot birds and wildlife, well, there's nothing between this and this, maybe except for the 400 2.8. But $2,000, $13,000. And in between, there's really nothing except for the 400 2.8, which is really close to this one. But that changed with the introduction of the new 300 f2.8 G Master lens, which I happen to have one right here, and I'm gonna open it up and take a look inside. Okay, we got the box here. It's very light. In fact, it's so light that I thought maybe there's nothing inside of it. So let's open it up. Got a strap. We got a bunch of paperwork in different languages. More paperwork. Warranty card. European warranty card and some recycle note. Let's open the rest of it. Hopefully the lens is there. It's got good packing. There it is. This is the actual lens. We put the box away. I have to say, I really like this bag. These kind of lenses usually come in these useless suitcases, hard shells that you honestly never use until the day you sell the lens. So it's just some item to store in the storage with a very little practical value. But this is something that you can actually carry with you. Take it around, and it's pretty nice to handle. It's got like a place for a strap here. And let's open it up. It opens like that. And inside, we got the 300 2.8. Pretty nice lens. This is really light. This is lighter. Feels much lighter than that 2 to 600. And let's see, it's got a cover here. This is similar to the 600 f4. It's not real leather, it's some kind of plastic, but gets the job done. And then here is the lens, and the lens hood has a locking tab, which is really nice. This one you gotta press to release. Yeah, really smooth locking and unlocking the hood in place. Really nicely balanced. The usual controls here for autofocus, manual focus, never use that. Full for the range limiter, either full from 6 meters to infinity. And then you have the optical stabilizer, I always leave it on. And then mode, I use mode 3. I'm gonna flick it to mode 3 right now. And yeah, it's really nicely balanced, made in Japan. Let's put it on the camera and see how it feels on the camera. So I got the A1 here. And just put it on and take a look. Yeah, really easy to hold. Yeah, the balance is great. Feels really nice. Yeah, really cool. You can take the tripod collar off if you don't use it, and that will probably shave some more weight. But as is, it's pretty nice to hand hold. You can hold it with one hand. I probably wouldn't recommend it because it's probably gonna put too much torque on the mount, but it's really light and really nice to handle. Let's do a comparison with the teleconverters on and see how long it will be, because most people probably use this with the 1.4 or 2x teleconverter to get to 420 and 600 millimeters. And let's see how come with the teleconverter. Alright, so here I have the 300 mounted on the A1 and the 2 to 600, and as you can see the 2 to 600 is actually taller or longer than the 300 prime, and it's also heavier. But what if we put the teleconverter on the 2.8? So I got both 1.4 and 2x's here. Let's start with the 2x. I use the 2x quite a bit. In fact, I use it more than the 1.4. Most of the time, if I need the focal length, I need 1200 millimeters. And if I don't need it, I just use the bare lens. We'll put the teleconverter on this guy. Then we put the yeah, not bad at all. It still feels really light, and no problem swinging this from a truck or a boat or even a helicopter. So yeah, it feels really good. It balances nicely even with the 2x. Now if you want to compare with the 2x, it is still actually shorter, as you can see, than the 2 to 600. So this is now 600 6.3 and this is 600 5.6, and this is about at least 2 or 3 inches longer, of course with the hood on. Actually the hood of the 300 2.8 is also shorter than the hood for the 2 to 600, but the diameter is larger a little bit. Compared to diameters, this one is kind of like a little skinnier all the way through. This one is even skinnier at the base, but then it tapers and it's a little bit fatter towards the end. But it feels really good in the hand, and it's probably a very good combo. Where I would use this is places like Florida. When you're shooting close range, you can even shoot 300 to a bare lens and just like raise like a feather from a boat or something like that, and it'll be like really easy to lock on pretty much anything. And then places where there's low light for eagles. Of course 300 millimeters in general bird photography is too short and not that much productive unless you're shooting very large birds like eagles. And something like bald eagles, for example, if you're going to Alaska or Canada, sometimes you can get fairly close and they're large birds, and those low light conditions, that f2.8 will become really handy. And the next step would be the 1.4 on it, which is a 420 f4, which is also pretty nice and handy, more usable than this one, because this one at the maximum aperture is 5.6. So at basically 420 millimeter f4 is still one stop faster than that. And then 600 5.6 is still decent. It's no longer f4, but it still gives you a little more light than the 6.3 here. And I haven't tested this yet, but I'm pretty sure the bokeh on this one is going to be nicer than that. The autofocus is going to be faster. This one has the same kind of motors that are in the 600 f4, the dual XD linear motors. This guy does not have the XD linear motors, it only has linear motors and not as fast in acquiring focus on something that flies really fast. But is this a substitute for this one? The answer is no. Why? Because the zoom lens can zoom in and out instantly. When you need to zoom in and out, you need to zoom in and out. Nothing else matters. Situation like you're shooting from a cliff and bird's gonna just pop right in front of you, you're gonna miss it with pretty much any lens other than this guy. Why? Because this one you zoom back, you see the subject, you find the subject, you locate and lock on it, and then you zoom in and bang, you got like killer frames. This one, or the 600 f4 or 400 2.8, your field of view is fixed, So if you don't react fast enough, if the bird is too close, too large, whatever, you're gonna miss the shot. So for some situations, no matter what, this guy is going to be the lens to use, and it's gonna pop 10 times more images than either this one or the 600 f4 for that matter. But there are some other situations where nothing is gonna come out of this, and something like the 600 f4 will give you hundreds of images, just because it's got more reach, it's faster, more reach with the teleconverter, obviously, it's faster and faster for autofocus, and it's sharper. So the image quality is better, and you can crop even more. The thing is that with something like the A1, 50 megapixels, unless the autofocus is totally blown, you can post-process any picture and make it look sharp. That's why looking more at the internet and people like drooling all over the pictures there doesn't tell you much about the lens, because if it's a process file, it tells more about the skill of the post-processing of the person rather than the quality of the optics. But anyways, you can basically downsample and sharpen the image and it'll look just fine. The difference is that when you crop, if it's not tack sharp, you can't crop as much, obviously, and crop into the image. Sometimes you have to. Is it desirable to crop a lot? Obviously not, but sometimes the subject is just too far, and either you have a picture, you don't have anything, so you rather crop. And the pixel level sharpness matters for those situations. And I have to test this one. I'm pretty sure Bear is going to be sharp as tack, but I'm going to test it with the 1.4 and 2x and then compare with this one and also the 600 prime. Obviously 600 is going to have the 2x because you can't make the 600 prime shorter, and then see how it compares. But for some situations, this is going to be the winner lens. Those situations, as I mentioned, shooting from a boat, shooting close range, large birds, low light, those kind of situations, this is going to win. And I bet the focus on this one is faster. I have to test it, but it'll probably give you more keepers that way too. And basically, all three are needed in your portfolio of lenses. Each of them has specialized applications, and they can all be used for general purpose depending on where you live and what you like to shoot. 600 millimeter, where I am and what I usually shoot, is just too short, so 800 and longer is needed. So my main gun is going to be the 600 f4, and I use it quite a bit with the 2x 1200 millimeters. Somehow I crank up a lot of dynamic images that are also sharp, so it's good for me. And yeah, but this one I'm gonna take it on trips where I feel it's gonna be more productive than the 600 prime or this lens. But in my opinion, all these three lenses have their own uses, and you gotta have all of them and use the right tool for the job to get the best results. And I look forward to using this and sharing my findings and my analysis. I may have a chance to actually measure MTF on these. If I get around it, I'll do that to measure the sharpness. That's the only way you can objectively measure the sharpness of a piece of optics, is to measure the PSF or the MTF of the lens, but that requires a lot of setup and you have to do it carefully, otherwise your measurement doesn't mean anything. And a lot of photographers honestly don't care. You know, if their end result is good, it's great, so why do you care? That's a valid point too. Yeah, but I'm gonna use this for a variety of situations, and I have a feeling that after using this, I will mostly use the zoom only for those specialized cases where the distance, flight distance is changing, the subject is blocked by something, it may pop, or something that I need to use the capability to zoom back and zoom in instantly, albeit just limited to those applications, because this one is lighter to carry, and as you saw, it's even shorter, even mounted with the 2x on it, and it doesn't take any more footprint. So there's really no reason to take this where you don't feel like it's a special feature, which is the zoom, is going to be needed, because even all things being considered, this is faster than that. This is 6.3, this is 5.6. And then this also gives you 2.8 and also a 4. So hands down, it will win a lot of situations. But then again, sometimes you need to zoom. And I'm really happy that Sony came up with something. But if you look at the competition right now, Nikon is killing it. They have a lot of high-end super telephoto lenses, literally every 200 millimeter focal length. They have a 4 with the TC, they have 5.6. I've discussed pretty much everything. So Sony needs to come up more in the, I would say, 400 millimeter and longer range of high-end, no compromise optics kind of lenses um, that can be used for wildlife and birding and people who are interested in these kind of subjects, because it sometimes makes a difference, especially traveling, like traveling with a 600 f4. You can travel with it, but if you're going on a regional jet, that's gonna be a pain to take that 600 millimeter onboard regional jet. This one and this one, no problem, just put it on the seat. Um, so if Sony had something like, for example, 400 f4, you might say that, oh, this has a 400 f4, but that's not exactly true. The 400 f4 can give you 800 f8. I had that Canon 400DO Mark II. That was a great lens. I still miss that lens. That would give you, excuse me, 800 millimeter f8, which was really helpful. This doesn't. So there's still room for a 400 f4, maybe a 600 f5.6 or 800 f6.3 or something like that, 7.1. But premium optics, no compromise, and that would be great if Sony comes with a bunch of lenses like that too. And you can take advantage of those lenses with these cameras, because in the old days with the DSLR, the autofocus performance was so much dependent on the maximum aperture because of the phase detect system that they had in the base of the camera, separate sensor, and that needed more light, and also the angle light was coming from. So it was really sensitive, and then f8 lens pretty much useless on a DSLR for dynamic subjects. Yeah, you could get shots here and there, but yeah, probably hit rate is like less than 5% or something like that. But with the mirrorless, it's not so sensitive. I mean, these cameras like the A1, they can pretty much focus at f8, no problem at all. It might slow down a little bit in very low light, but I've not observed any issues like grabbing anything from peregrine falcon to like swallows or whatever. And it's not a one-time show, over and over again, consistently. So they can handle the little smaller apertures. Obviously, the light has to be good enough because the ISO and all that. But it's the market is there for like premium super telephoto lenses at apertures like one stop below f4. In terms of what you gain in terms of weight and compactness. So I hope Sony really continues on this trend of giving us a next lens between this and the 600 f4. That would be great. But for now, I'm just gonna go out and use this pretty soon, and then I'm gonna write a review for it online. And I hope you enjoy this video, and check back for the review. Thanks a lot for watching.